Well, hey, once again, happy Thanksgiving, y'all. I hope you're having a good day. I was cranking my Pandora channel. I have King's Father Christmas as the base for the channel, so it's giving me a lot of great, rock versions of Christmas songs right now. I've got the classic from John Lennon, Happy Christmas, War's Over. But it's been playing a nice variety of stuff. I really dig this channel. Oh, yeah, baby, that's what they like. So I'm having the Leopold brothers. I actually did a video for this a little bit ago, so I'm going to talk more about Thanksgiving than the whiskey. But, who knows? But it is a fine whiskey. Using my VIP glass. I recently found out it's a 3-year-old whiskey. They don't mention that on their website, but I was talking to someone the other day who does some tastings for a local liquor store, and that's what they had told me about that. They tell you to look for notes of raspberry, pear, vanilla, toffee caramel. I can't speak there. And actually getting about all of those, but I'm still not pulling any raspberry out of it. That's probably me, but I'm not pulling any raspberry out of it at all. The oak is nice in this, though. Oh, it's just a nice, soft, easy drinking whiskey. I really like it. It's a great young 3-year-old. That's the interesting thing about the small batch distilleries, or these smaller craft distilleries, I guess you'd call them, or boutique distilleries, whatever you choose to call them. Is that a lot of these, the way they age them, they don't necessarily need to be aged for, 4, 6, 8, 10 on up years. A lot of these are just fine, and they're perfectly mature at about anywhere between 2 to 4. That's very nice. I know Missouri Spirits, I think theirs runs only about 2 years. It's a fine whiskey. It's different than the cheaper whiskeys you find under the brand names that are only 2 years old. It's really a different animal. So you got to just taste the whiskey. You can't necessarily judge it by the age on it. Son of a buck. Yeah, I am pulling up. Actually, when I had it the other day, I was getting some pear, but I wasn't getting a lot of it. Now I am feeling actually a lot of the pear. I was feeling a lot of vanilla, I thought, early on when I had it the first time. And now I am feeling a lot of those fruit notes. Sometimes it just depends on the day, right? Your taste buds and what's working, what's not. Things aren't always, chiseled in stone, man. I think that's what a lot of folks miss that do beer reviews and whiskey reviews, is a lot of them talk in absolutes. Like what they say is exactly what you're going to get. Everybody tastes things different, and things change from day to day, man. Nothing is chiseled in stone, man. These aren't tablets handed from God to Moses, man. It's just somebody's opinion, so don't take it too seriously, even and especially mine. I don't claim to be an expert whiskey drinker. I've never claimed to be an expert beer drinker. I think that's what a lot of folks get wrong. I'm just having I'm having a pub conversation, man. I'm having a drink and I'm talking to you like you were here with me. So I don't necessarily mind if anybody disagrees with me. I do kind of get baffled why folks put a dislike down there without giving you a reason why. I mean, I'm just having a conversation, man. What's there for you to dislike? If you don't like me, don't watch me, man. It's pretty darn simple. But there are a lot of haters out there, unfortunately. Some people just enjoy being miserable. And they just want to drop. I've actually never once put a dislike on somebody. I know there are times I've wrote a consenting opinion, but I've done it in a respectful way. But I've never dropped a dislike on someone because I think it's childish. Gosh, that's nice. And I've noticed the more I let this melt, the more I let this ice melt, the more the sugars come to the surface. That's not necessarily unusual. It happens with most, but that's what I've noticed. So, hey, you can see my wreath there. Seamus, I've said this several times. I'm just always assume you're watching me for the first time. Our son Seamus made that when he was in 5th grade. We just keep it up year round now. There's a science-based program in town called the Wolf Program. It's only for 5th graders. They had 2 classes of 12, 24 students, and the students had to be chosen. You had to apply, and then you had to be picked. He did apply for the program, and he was picked for it. A lot of it wasn't necessarily based on grades. A lot of it was based on attitude. Did you have any disciplinary actions? Because they do a lot of things with these kids. There's a lot of how do I say this right? They do a lot out in the field. I mean, they took them to an archery range. Gosh, there were so many field trips I cannot remember them all. But there was just a lot of wildlife training that went along with this program. So it wasn't necessarily just about being smart. It was about having the proper attitude where you could work with other folks. So kids, even though even if you had a great point average, if you didn't have the right attitude, you might not have been chosen for this program. But he was. It was a great 5th grade for him. And the Snoopy in there, my daughter made. I can't remember how old she was when she made that for me, but she knew I was a Snoopy junkie. Now Do They Know It's Christmas by Band-Aid is coming on. I've got it muted because I always get flagged from YouTube when I have the music playing in the background. So it bugs me. I just want to let the music. I want to be in a bar, man. You know what I mean? I want the bar at. I don't necessarily want to be in a bar because I like sitting here on my own comfy chair in my underwear, and they kind of frown on that in most pubs. But I wish I could do these videos like I was in a pub and just crank some music, but. People getting their knickers in a knot, and there's nothing you can do about it. So we're not really doing a traditional Thanksgiving here. We're not really doing much, to be honest with you. I have a bird I'll probably cook tomorrow, but yesterday I roasted some turkey legs and made some stock, and we kind of snacked on some of it last night. But the stock I actually just use now. I sauteed some onions, celery, and various other things, and made a very nice roux. So I think I'm just going to do some turkey corn chowder for dinner tonight. It's going to be very easy. I got some beans in there. I'm steaming some sweet potatoes, so it's going to be it's almost like leftovers first. Our Thanksgiving is going to be the leftovers first, so. We didn't get to the store to buy all the stuff that we need to do the whole big thing. And we've been invited to some friends on Saturday, so my wife wants to make a couple salads for that. So the bottom line is we didn't want to do a big production going into that. But I did want to make something, and I didn't actually know what I was going to make today until I started making it. I had the stock. Oh man, that was an incredibly rich stock. Excuse me. Oh goodness, it's stuck right there. You ever have one get stuck right there? Hold on. There we go. That was almost chunky. Yeah, it was very rich stock. So I at one point I thought I might just do turkey and dumplings, but then I had some potatoes left. And I was, no, I'm just going to do a chowder. That'll be easier. Got some rolls. So I think we're just going to do some turkey corn potato chowder for dinner. I don't know. Like I said, I got some beans cooking too, and sweet potatoes. So it'll be a rather simple meal. Kind of like I said, leftovers first kind of dinner. It's always tough for me, and I hate to keep repeating myself because I know some folks get irritated about it. But, this was Seamus and I. This was our holiday, man. He loved Thanksgiving. It was his favorite holiday. Now, he loved Christmas, don't get me wrong. But he loved Thanksgiving because it was just about family. It wasn't about giving presents. It was just about family, and that's what he loved about this particular holiday. And he loved planning the menu with me. So I really am missing him right about now. Miss him every day, but there are certain days, certain times where it's just almost brutal. So, I don't mind being left alone. My wife's always worried about leaving me alone. Not for the reasons you might think, but especially on days like this, she doesn't want me to get sad. So, but it's easier for me to be by myself when she's out helping my daughter right now, or our daughter, I should say. Because then when I get sad, I don't feel like I'm bringing her down. So I kind of have intermittent periods of melancholy. Then I'll do these videos and try to bring it, try to kick it up, man. I try not to show on the videos that I'm melancholy too often. But I'm honest when I do these. You know, I kind of talk frank. I'm like you're all my therapists. Now, mostly like you're all just hanging out with me in the pub and we're having a conversation. And that's easier for me than to actually be talking to a person, because sometimes people are uncomfortable when you talk about certain subjects. But when I talk to the camera, it's not uncomfortable for anybody. You have the ability to choose to watch or not to watch if it makes you uncomfortable. Sasquatch. So Leopold Brothers whiskey, I do recommend it highly. It runs between 30 to 35 a bottle. It is worth every damn penny. It's a fine young whiskey. These guys are doing some great stuff. I want to find some others. They don't have their rye there at the store that I picked this up, but they have some flavored whiskeys. I'm just not a huge fan of flavored whiskeys, but I'm going to have to try one just to see. So anyways, hey, I am Tom the Beer Whisperer. Doing some whiskey whispering at the moment. I hope you're all having a happy Thanksgiving, and we'll talk to you later.